Oh, hello YouTube, maybe you've heard of this. I'm not doing that intro again. Welcome to the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. I needn't run while I can just talk about my day. We'll start focusing again on unlocking stuff in Isaac once the new expansion is out. Even though it's kind of old because we've technically done most of Afterbirth already, but at least it's integrated, so we'll have to unlock stuff all over again. What were their names? Bethany and Jacob and Esau? Anyway, let's see what we get, and thank you an anonymous gifter who gave Look I'm Not Really Mad Rodin a tier 1 sub. I was going to make an inappropriate joke just because the Prodigy guy died, so I can't make that joke anymore of us looking like him. Let's see, 9PQ3ABYZ. That's quite nice to say. 9PQ3ABYZ. It could be like a Star Wars alien language. Oh, just looked at our stats. Good tier rate, but terrible damage. Good starting aim. Oh, we have a tower card as well. Not today, Satan. It probably also means we'll get a bunch of cubes of meat, which might make up for our low starting damage. Although the fire rate kind of helps. You want to roll the dice? Let's roll the dice. Haha! I rolled the dice correctly. You adulted today? You bought a new washing machine. There was definitely a worse way you could have said that sentence. You could have said that you committed adultery, I suppose. Well, good for you. You know, on my day off, I also did some proper adult non-student type things because I bought a bunch of baking supplies on Monday. I don't mean like ingredients, although I did buy ingredients. I mean, I needed a sieve, a spatula, a icing spoon, a large mixing bowl, for all that kind of thing. Although I had to borrow a sieve from my mother, because as it turns out supermarkets do not sell sieves. I didn't know that. They sell everything else, but they don't sell sieves. I don't know why. Maybe you can use sieves to like prepare drugs or something. Are you baked now? Yes, but not in the oh no TOS sense. I don't think you can make a sieve into a shiv. So anyway chat, I've got a bunch of stories I can tell you. I can carry on with this thread about baking if you like. Or your other choices are keep shit in relation to I've started watching Arrow. I also have Batman comics to talk about. Or I could talk about 40k or tabletop crap. Or we could talk about what literally just got revealed a little while ago for us, live that is Google's new cloud gaming platform, because cloud gaming definitely isn't an absolutely terrible idea. I was going to call it Stevia, but that's that sweetener, right? It sounds like Stevia. Is it Stavio or something? They're bringing out their version of a Steam controller, because that did well as well. And they're doing cloud gaming, because that's definitely something people want. But what is cloud gaming? You do not download the games you play them via streaming them from the service provider. Because everywhere in the world has fantastic internet and will definitely not have play interrupted at any point. It's good of Google to be the first people to realise that. There's this myth, along with the Earth being round, that there's bad internet. It's nonsense really, it's a conspiracy against the internet. We're not talking about shivs, we're talking about sieves. Different thing. It'd be very difficult to use a sieve as a shiv. Not impossible, just very difficult. No, not sieves as in the characters in Civilization. Look, we're getting off topic. Shakes fist in 1 megabyte up. Yes. Although I do like that Twitter account that just takes scenes from The Simpsons and calls them video games. It has the old man yells at Cloud for Google's mistake. Hey, it's not like it's the first one of them they've made, so you know, whatever. Let's finish talking about the baking first, just because we kind of started on that thread by me talking about the various implements I bought. So you may have seen on Twitter, I like baked a proper cake. I still used my my crock pot, as it turns out people call it. Not slow cooker, but whatever. Slow cooker, crock pot, same difference. And it was different to all the other ones I've tried because, as I say, I had a mixing bowl and all that stuff, so it was genuine baking. Still used a cake mix, but like sugar, eggs, etc., all whisked in a bowl. Made a few mistakes that I guess I can go into to make people who actually know what they're doing cringe. The recipe called for butter, and I thought, okay, I've got butter. But, oh, I thought when I was shopping, I'll be smart. They want proper butter, not the stuff I have, because I use like lighter and unsalted butter. Also, that reminds me, Martha Stewart says butter. She says it really weird. She also says water, and I don't know why. Where is she from in America that makes her mispronounce water and butter? Because I noticed it and then couldn't unnotice. But anyway, the recipe called for butter, as she says, and I bought proper butter on Monday, and that comes in hard blocks, and it's been a long time since I've had actual proper butter. So I kind of forgot that it was so hard. So it came, I had the mixture and it was time to put the butter in to mix it with the eggs and the sugar and the cake mix, etc. I was like, oh, this recipe calls for this to be melted. I don't want to do that because I've got everything prepared. The slow cooker was heated up, I was ready to go. It takes a little while and I didn't have much time left over in the day. So I also couldn't leave it out to at least soften a little bit. So what I did was I cut it into thin slices using a knife. I threw the slices into the bowl of the mixture, and because the whisk wasn't doing a good job, I grabbed a wooden spoon and just started splatting it into small enough bits that I convinced myself it was whisked. So when I did eventually put the mixture into the crock pot, there may have been a few lumps of butter in the mix. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but that was not what the recipe called for. So mistakes were made, but it turned out okay. I burnt one side of it, but that wasn't down to the butter inside it. That was down to... I used the cooking spray on the crockpot to try and make it not stick. I almost feel like the sides I did get with the spray were the sides that burnt, weirdly. I don't know what that's about. I have the same problem when I'm using the grill sometimes, because I use the cooking spray for the grill too. Used unmelted butter for like cookies. But look, the recipe, I was following the recipe. It said melted. Well, I say I was following the recipe. The recipe called for melted, but the recipe did not get melted. It got squished into bits. Other than that, it was a peanut butter cupcake, if you aren't aware, and as I say, there is a picture on Twitter. Other than one side of it being slightly burnt, I think it turned out okay. My mother's had some of it. She took some of it away to my sister to drop her off at her work. I don't know, I haven't heard back from her. Do you want me to text her live and see if we can get some live reaction? I will. I'll text my sister. Make sure she's still alive and didn't get food poisoning. Hang on. Did you enjoy my peanut butter monstrosity? That's how you spell monstrosity. We will find out live whether or not she is alive and whether or not she enjoyed it. I'll let you know if she replies. Although I don't have an iWatch anymore, so I won't hear a ding, so I just need to check every so often. Also, before the stream today, after recording a 40k battle report, I decided to make some more fudge just because I got some stuff for fudge. And I made another eensy-weensy mistake with my latest fudge experiment. Because I don't understand how basic colour matching works. So I was going to do fudge, and I got the thing I was talking about to Valinar on Sunday, which was those fancy ass flavourings from Amazon that are very expensive. And I wanted to make bubblegum flavoured fudge. And I didn't just want to make bubblegum flavoured fudge, I wanted it to look the part, so I wanted it to be blue. So I got blue food colouring from the supermarket when I was picking up stuff. Problem was though, I forgot to buy white chocolate. I only had milk chocolate. So I thought, okay, well I would have ideally preferred white chocolate because that would mix better with the food colouring. But I'll take what I've got, and that's, yes, blue bubblegum. We have blue bubblegum. Do you not have that? That's like the most common colour bubblegum here. Anyway, point is, I thought, okay, well, it probably won't turn it blue if I mix blue food colouring into the milk chocolate mix, but it might tint it blue a little bit, so I'll just squeeze a bit in. So I did that without realising that food colouring, when it's like the gel, it's not a drop. It doesn't start as a light version of the colour, it starts very, very deep in colour and then gets lighter in the mix, because usually you're supposed to put it in like cake mix, presumably, or sponges. So I didn't know that, so when I squeezed it in to the mix, all it did to the milk chocolate was turn it much darker brown. Which isn't terrible, I suppose, because it makes it look like dark chocolate, if nothing else, even though it's milk chocolate. But then I had the secondary bright idea of once it was in the tray, cooling, afterwards, I was like, okay, fine, it just looks like dark chocolate now, that's a fail. What if I use the leftover food colouring, mix it with a little bit of water to lighten it, and then kind of spread it over the top so it looks like blue streaks? And that was a mistake, because all it did was create like navy dark blue splodges in certain areas of the fudge. That's why I haven't posted a picture of that on Twitter. I did also try and hide my shame by just drowning it in hundreds and thousands afterwards. As far as taste goes, it tastes nice. Did I get sick from all the food dye? No. At least not yet. Although I also haven't had much. I didn't put that much in. Like, we're talking about like a tiny container of like Dr. Utger's food stuff. Although that might be something to concern about if I eat more of it in one sitting. I don't plan to eat more of it in one sitting, but I guess I should hold off letting anyone else try it until I do, huh? You made a really blue cake once and it didn't end well? Well, you're talking about like a full-size cake, though. My slow cooker's not that big. It's meant for one person. I'll wait and see before I let anyone else try it. I'll give it like a day or two, see if my stomach gets upset or anything like that. I've had a bit of it. I had like a line of what I cut. As far as taste goes, it tastes fine. Hello, Fallen. Yeah, I might be right. So my plan for when I do my next weird flavour is, well, 1, use white chocolate, and 2, use a lot less food colouring, because it doesn't need a lot. Did my sister reply? She has not. It's been delivered but not read. Hello, Ox. A line of what you cut. I don't know drug innuendo. I'm talking, you know, fine in context. It was totally fine. Hello, Blake. So yeah, that's how my cooking adventures went. I'm planning on trying to make some kind of like red velvet monstrosity in the slow cooker at some point this week. Probably not going to be tomorrow, but at some point. And then next week I've already planned I want to make my own coleslaw. That's not involving the slow cooker, it's just I got reminded that my gran used to make her own coleslaw and it was really nice, so I want to try and emulate that by making my own. We do not want that. We are going to ignore fetus in a jar. I'll take the penny. I also just remembered I totally forgot to even cover what we're playing tonight because I was too busy talking about the games coming out over the next 2 weeks. The Season 1 Battle Passes started for Apex Legends. That's what we're playing after I tell stories while playing Isaac. So chat, would you like me to talk about Batman comics or would you like me to talk about Arrow? As in the TV series of, I don't know what network it launched on. Hang on, Tinted Rock check, real quick. No. No. Wait. No. Hello, you Vice President. Yeah, it's 2-1 for Arrow. Well, just to be clear before people start talking about themselves, halfway through Season 1, because like it's hour-long episodes, and as it turns out there's a lot of episodes in the season, at least at the start. So I'm only halfway through Season 1, so don't discuss spoilers beyond that. As far as initial impressions, I like it. I would put it kind of not quite on par with Daredevil. The fighting isn't as fun. because it's mostly arrow shooting. But in general, yeah, it's pretty good. What network did it air on in America, like before coming to DVD? CW. What does CW stand for? Oh, so do they do Gotham as well then? Yeah, but what does the CW stand for? Nobody's telling me. Central something? I don't know. That's the only one they don't. Typical. You don't think anybody knows? Come on, House. Someone must know what the CW stands for. Oh, CBS and Warner Brothers. So it's like they're conglomerated. Okay. If you'd said CBS, I would have known what you meant. Because I've heard of that. They co-own it together. Alright, fair enough. As far as like the main guy who plays Oliver Queen, he's good. I don't think he's as good as the guy who was playing Daredevil. He's much more amiable. But I like that it's essentially just Batman, except he uses a bow and arrow and murders lots and lots and lots of people. I wasn't expecting them, especially considering it's what, like 15 or something? The DVD? Hang on, I can check. No, I can't check. There's no age rating on this. I thought I saw it was a 15. Oh, it's on the side of the box. Yeah, 15. I wasn't expecting him to have such a murder boner. I don't know if Oliver Queen like murders people in the comics, because my impression was he's part of the Justice League, so I thought he didn't. But maybe they were going for the whole gritty thing before Daredevil did. And they show him doing a lot of like detective stuff. It honestly does. It helps prove, along with Daredevil, that a Batman television show other than Gotham, where Batman isn't the focus, would really work, because all the action is hand-to-hand combat, which is much cheaper to film than anything involving CG. And people want to see detective shit. They want to see like solving of crimes and cleverness, not just people getting punched in the face. I'm quite impressed with like all the actors as well. The actors are good. I really like Diggle. I like Oliver's mother. The sister I do not like at all, and for some reason I only noticed her severe lisp like 10 episodes in. It's almost like it got worse. Like, I don't know if the actress got plastic surgery or Botox or something, but it feels like her lisp gets progressed. Like, there's a very specific episode where it just, the one where she crashes her car, her lisp is all of a sudden much worse, and is worse from that point on, and I don't know why. And it was very distracting. They're doing the Batwoman show? Oh, that's... I am more interested now then. And they had a Huntress in this as well. If they ever do the... well, if they stay true to the source material, if they do the Hush animated movie, then Huntress should be in that, because she is in the beginning of it. I like... what's his name? Damn it, I'm blanking on now. The guy who's in Doctor Who. Barrowman? What's his first name? Michael Barrowman? Is it Michael? I like him as the villain. As generic evil business person. John Barrowman, that's the one. He's Scottish, by the way, if you aren't aware. He does not have his accent. I saw him on a talk show live years and years and years ago, where he was talking to the host who was Scottish, and he said like, he has the same thing I do, where if I'm talking to someone who's Scottish, more of my accent comes out. I think he moved to America when he was young or something like that, so that's why his accent is a little bit buried. I also forgot I could fly, so I could just do that. Yeah, but I like him as the villain. Hello, kitty. He lives in Palm Springs, but is very Scottish. There you go. He is also what I would describe as adorably gay. He went to many a con. There's a very famous picture of him dressed as Squirrel Girl. And he was good in Doctor Who. I didn't really care for the solo program he got after Doctor Who. Especially because he was playing an immortal, so there was no fear of the hero losing. But him as an actor I like. So yeah, he's good. I'm trying to think of like anyone else who I didn't like, but honestly I find lots of the characters interesting. I don't like the best friend, it's very cliche, everything involving him, but it's not down to the actor, it's just down to there's got to be drama so that there can be like cheap scenes to film. And the love interest, Laurel, which is a very strange name. I'm not too keen on her either. Torchwood, that was the one, yeah. Thank you, Robin the Boy Blunder, for a 21-month streak with your Twitch Prime. Hello, Flik and Chat. Glad to continue supporting the channel, even if real life has kept me from making the streams that much lately. Hopefully that will change soon. I also hope it changes soon. I saw him at a con where a Canadian dude was cosplaying as a buff Magikarp and Barrowman just fawned over him. Oh, he is super into geeky stuff, like unironically, he's not just doing it for show, like he is super into it. Which, as I said, makes him adorable. Yes, he is a legit nerd. 100% a legit nerd. Oh, I do have a question. In, like, the comic backstory for Oliver Queen, is he trained by Deathstroke? Or is that just something they decided to do? Let's try and get a half-price spare heart just because. While I'm waiting for an answer, that would do. Trained by him, sorta. Well, he is kind of sorta in the show as well. Because I like that, well, spoilers for like the first half of season 1, they set up that Deathstroke is one of the people he had to contend with and eventually kill on the island. But then it turns out that's not Deathstroke, Deathstroke's someone else and is actually training him. Depends on which reboot you're talking about. I guess in any, so I guess in some comic, Oliver Queen was trained by Deathstroke and that's why he's, so he comes back like he's a master martial artist. The Deathstroke mask looks really, really goofy, but all the kind of fight scenes involving him I enjoyed. They were by far the best. Oh, that's the other character I liked. I like the English guy who plays Oliver's stepfather. I've definitely seen him in other things, but I can't remember what. But I like his character as well. He's just... he puts his nose where it doesn't belong and pays the price. Tier 3 cubic meat it is. Definitely take that. I do worry though. I am thoroughly enjoying season 1. I hope that it has a satisfying conclusion. I'll see once I get through the other half. After that though, there's 5 more seasons. And I don't know any notable villains of Oliver Queen. Now granted, they've used a bunch of Batman related ones, Deathstroke, Deadshot, Firefly, etc. Which means they hopefully came up with good original villains, or they have some other like season spanning plot that's as interesting enough to start. Like, when I look at something and it's like, oh, 6 seasons, as much as I hate that Daredevil got cancelled, I would never have wanted it to reach 6 seasons because they would have been reaching for new things to do. And even of the 3 seasons of Daredevil, only 2 of them are good. No, I didn't catch that, and if it was spoilers, thank you. Obviously, I am going to watch the other seasons. But I am worried that the quality is going to dip, because if a superhero thing gets that many seasons and it's not something that is super well known, it feels like it's just being made because it's making money more so than anything else. Now, hopefully I'm wrong. Is season 6 the last season, or is there like a season 7? None of the shows have ended? Well, if they're still popular enough that they're getting like 7+ seasons, then that must mean there's some degree of quality that gets maintained. Well, I guess that doesn't mean anything, because Daredevil had a very successful 3rd season and still got canned because Disney wants to make their own version. It is interesting that he is just like straight up murder man from the start, and then later in the season he starts to kind of not be as murder boner happy. It makes it a lot less, or it makes it more difficult to do the whole, yeah, he's a vigilante, but he's bringing people to justice by getting them arrested. You can't do that angle if he's just killing folk. And the usual fallback is, well, yeah, but he warns them first. He gives them 24 hours to change their ways, and then he kills them. It's still a little iffy, and I hope it kind of, as it goes on, I want it to delve more into that. He rolled a murder hobo. Yes, he did. Well, he is a murder hobo. Just he's very rich as well. He's a murder hobo who is rich. Come on, look. Oh, the computer lady, the IT lady. Where do I know her from? I know her face from somewhere, and like I know the character she's playing from somewhere. She's played that type of character in something I've seen her in. I don't know what her name is. What would I know her from? Has she been in anything else superhero related? I've never seen CSI. What else is she famous for? Has she done any movies? Because it's more likely I've seen her in a movie. I haven't watched any of The Flash yet. So I wouldn't know her from that. She's done some movies, but nothing really big. Maybe I saw her in something on Netflix then? Has she done anything for them? I definitely know her face. Like, I have a thing where I just know faces from places. And I know hers from something. Has she done any hardcore pornography? She's in a Nickelback music video. Jesus Christ. No, I don't know her from a Nickelback music video. No, we ain't taking that even as a joke. Even for the cost of one, it is not worth that. Arrow is her biggest role? No, I haven't seen that movie. That is weird. Maybe she just looks like somebody else who's more famous. You know, actually, now that I think about it, it's something I've watched recently. She looks like the lady who played Catwoman in the Michael Keaton movie, Michelle Pfeiffer. She looks like her when she's in her office girl, nerd girl persona, not like when she's Catwoman. She does play a kind of like a stereotypical archetypal character, like the goofy computer hacker. She's their Oracle, essentially. And Diggle is essentially his Alfred, there to be his moral compass. I kind of hope he starts doing more badass things, but it's important to have like the character of it that acts as the conscience for the hero. That's why Alfred is so important to Batman. I am looking forward to watching more. It will take me a long time to get through them with them being hour-long episodes. But I'll probably have Season 1 done by next Tuesday. And that may be a good crossing over point to your Lord and Saviour Batman. How fun is it to say Diggle? It is a funny name. You know what else? I kept on saying I want to pick up the Green Arrow model for the Batman miniature game. There is a Diggle model as well. I feel like I want to get that one too, so I can feel Diggle in my Batman battle reports. Although he's got a superhero name in that. He's called the Spartan, I think. So anyway, yeah, let's talk. We've talked enough about superhero vigilante shit, so let's talk about Batman instead, who, as we all know, is neither of those things. So via my subscription service, 2 more comics this week. I mentioned briefly, or in fact I showed them when we were playing Monster Hunter on Sunday because I had Doggo Cam on. So one of them was the Neil Adams Compendium Part 2, which is just comics by the artist, or storyboard, whatever he was, Neil Adams. I don't like his art style. I don't like his goofy stories. The ones in this version were mostly involving Man-Bat and who else? Like miscellaneous, like no-name villains. Didn't do anything for me. I skimmed through it. Just was not interesting at all. So he might be well regarded, but he's credited with giving like Bruce Wayne an actual human side. So fair enough, but didn't do anything for me. Goodbye, Ty. Can use that. But the other one was pretty interesting, and I am going to talk about the story in full, so if you care about... Oh, look, it's the compost. If you care about spoilers for Requiem for Damien, then you don't want to listen. But that's apparently from the Batman Incorporated comic run, which is when Batman was doing his dumbass put a Batman in every continent in the world BS. Don't call him Man-Bat, he's got a name probably. He does, he is Dr. Kirk Landstrom, I believe. Actually, to go back to the Neil Adams one very briefly, like Man-Bat goes back to his wife thinking that she'll be horrified that he's a horrible Batman creature. Or Man-Bat creature, sorry. And she basically has the reaction of like, no, I'm okay with it. It's like, she was the world's first furry. Good to know. So anyway, Requiem for Damien is set during the Batman Incorporated run after a storyline where Talia al Ghul, I don't know, tries to set off a nuke or something like that, and she has a lackey called the Heretic, which you can get a model of instantly. We just brought out a Talia al Ghul and Heretic bat box. The Heretic is a clone of Damien who has been aged into adulthood and trained to be an assassin. And in the newer storylines, Talia is not the kind of loving, regretful assassin that you see in the Arkham games. She is a horrible, horrible monster who has taken Ra's al Ghul's place. So in a storyline in this comic run, she tried to set off a nuke or something like that. Batman and Robin stop her, but in the process the Heretic kills Robin. And Requiem for Damien is Bruce trying and failing to deal with the death of his son at the hands of his mother. Well, by proxy. So most of it is him kind of failing in spectacular ways to come to terms with his grief. It's really nice because it examines a side of his personality, because obviously he's lost people before, like Jason Todd, but it's never been family, like literal family. So it deals with an interesting like aspect of his personality that you don't see very often. That said, I do have one major complaint with it, and it's exceptionally hard to ignore once you notice it. And I don't know if you can Google the name just to see some pictures of it maybe. Whoever drew it, every single time they draw Alfred, make him look like the Godfather. And he is often drawn in silhouette because there's a side story I'll talk about, but Alfred looks like the Godfather in almost every single panel. And I could not unnotice it. He looks exactly... He's got the jowls, he's got the blank stare. It's really, really distracting. And definitely the worst part of the story. Oh, Valnard googled it. He is going to make you an offer you can't refuse, yes. I can't help but think whoever drew that did it on purpose. They must have done it on purpose. It's too close for it not to be. Or they just used some very blatant referencing and hoped that no one would notice. And I want to see the picture that you got to show chat. And we'll finish this room and check the link. You would come to me like this, Mr. Wayne, on the day of my daughter's wedding. I can't do it good, Godfather. I wish I could, because it's a wonderful voice. Post the link, I want to see. You're getting me hit because I keep looking at chat for the link. I don't see a link. Still nothing. Clearly Valinar has died of shock at the revelation that the Godfather was Bruce Wayne's butler the entire time. And nobody suspected a thing. The real organised crime was acting out of Wayne Manor. Valinar, put down Dragon's Dogma and post the damn picture link. I will destroy you. On this, the day of your 13th wedding. There you go. Typically when I'm in a long boss fight, but that's okay. I'll find the link. Not quite sure what hit me there. Hang on, what one did you find? Yeah, there you go, that's the exact one I was thinking of. Yeah. Although, like, don't be mistaken, that's not the only time. It's constantly through the whole thing. He's always in that kind of, like, it's to hide that he's crying most of the time. But he is framed like that through the whole thing. So that was distracting, but other than that, it's very fun. Apparently Frankenstein is just a person that exists, as in like Frankenstein, but it's Frankenstein's monster. Is also just a character that exists in the DC world. Because Batman finds Frankenstein and wants him to tell him how he exists so that he can bring Damien back as a Frankenstein monster. Well, like I said, he doesn't cope very well with loss, as it turns out. And ends up like chopping Frankenstein to bits and examining him on the table. Or an operating table. Doesn't do well with loss. But then when that fails, he takes Jason Todd to the place where he died, hoping that he would remember something about how he came back so he could use that, and that just results in Jason Todd beating the shit out of him for a little while. He willingly takes the beating, for the record. And then, he goes and saves like some little girl at Catwoman's behest. That was just a weird side thing to connect him with another child, I guess. He also discovers that Damien was secretly taking acting lessons from a student, and he wants to know what she, like, why was he hiding this aspect of his life. And I believe this lady is one who goes on to become a Robin. Like, she becomes the other female Robin. And that's how she gets introduced. I can't remember her name offhand. Kelly sounds right. There has been 2 female Robins. One is in The Dark Knight Returns. I don't remember her name. And then there's one other that I didn't know about, and apparently it was from this run, I guess. Because she does kind of get brought to the house. Alfred hires her to look after Damien's dog. So that's the kind of like human part where he realizes he doesn't know much about his son and he gets very depressed. He goes on a criminal stopping spree and then litters the bat signal with unconscious villains, which is quite fun. But then he starts getting too aggressive, and he beats up Harvey Bullock and Catwoman. Well, no, it's Batgirl. It's still Batgirl. Batgirl films it and shows it to him. Most of the family, as in like the Bat family, aren't talking to him because it's set after Death of the Family, where they all hate him for not sharing that he believed Joker knew who they were, and as it turns out he did know. So none of them liked him for keeping that secret from them. So it's kind of like that's going on in the background as well. Also, I think I got a reply from my sister there. Oh, I did. It was good, but I like the fudge better as it's not a huge... Oh, as I'm not a huge peanut butter fan. She wrote it wrong, but... Okay, she prefers the fudge, she doesn't like the peanut butter thing as much. Now I'm glad I gave her the burnt bit. Tee-hee. Bat dog? No, the dog doesn't join them on adventures. It's just... I think it's called Titus. It's just his dog that Alfred mostly looks after. But anyway, since we're almost finished the run, gotta finish the story. The story, Requiem for Damien, culminates in Bruce creating a VR program where it kind of sets it up like it's him replaying how Damien died, seeing what he could have done different to make the outcome different. So you see him trying to handle it in different ways, and essentially it always results in either him dying or Damien dying. And then it keeps on like saying program failed, try again. So it makes it sound like he's trying to find a way that would have worked. But that's not what the program's for. And then Dick Grayson shows up and does the program with him, and he finds a way to make Damien survive, but he kills the heretic to do it. And then when he does that, it says, oh, program successfully completed, because Dick Grayson was willing to kill to save Damien. Hello, Shiro. And then it counts as being completed for Bruce as well, although he doesn't feel like that helped him very much. So then when him and Dick walk away, Alfred tries the program, and he reenacts when Damien left the cave to go help his father, and originally in the storyline, Alfred let him go, and in this version of events, he knocks Damien out to stop him going. And then Bruce is watching and realises that Alfred is racked with grief. And he blames himself for what happened to Damien. And that he was so self-centered he didn't see that Alfred essentially lost a son as well. It's a very sad moment. I very enjoyed the end of the story. Which is just as well, because we actually finished the run. I'll clear a couple more rooms real quick, just so I finish the thought. But it that pulls Bruce out of his remorse when he realises that Alfred has been hurting more than him because he blames himself for what happened. Because it technically is his fault, I guess, if you think about it. And that's why through the whole thing Alfred is shown like in shadow and whatever else and in the background, because he's crying constantly. So if you go back and read it a second time and you notice those things, it's actually quite clever. But anyway, I'm not here to sing the praises of a Batman comic again for too long. Thank you, those watching on YouTube, for watching. I hope you enjoyed. We'll be back again soon enough with another episode. Until then, ta-ta for now.